Well, a new lawsuit claims that staff on a Royal Caribbean cruise ship served a passenger 33 drinks in a matter of hours. The family of 35-year-old.
What are we doing? Why are we going to kill that baby? And they told him because the beast asked for a baby, so we have to give him a baby.
Top robotics company in Japan this week. 4 robots being developed for military applications killed 29 humans.
It ain't nothing to fear. Don't listen to no spiritual leader that tell you that. Don't listen to no church that tell you that. It ain't nothing to fear.
Welcome to the sacrificed.
Whether you have a real or artificial Christmas tree, it is critical you turn off the lights before bed and when you leave the house. That is the message from a Delaware woman who lost 6 of her family members to a tragic fire 10 years ago.
They had left their tree lights on when they went to bed, and there was an electrical problem.
That sparked a fast-moving fire.
And at 3:29 in the morning, the smoke detectors all went off. But by 3:31, there were flames shooting through the roof.
Cher Grogg's brother, his wife, and 4 of the couple's young grandchildren lost their lives that night.
You've now made it your mission to warn other people about this kind of danger.
Yes.
Grogg now works with Common Voices, a fire safety advocate group.
I have to tell you, never, ever, ever leave your tree lights on when the tree is unattended.
Take a look at this live tree demonstration by the Philadelphia Fire Department. It shows how quickly flames can spread.
Water your tree every day. It makes a huge difference in the flammability of your tree.
Fill the tree stand with water daily and keep your tree at least 3 feet away from any heat source.
Definitely dispose of the tree within 30 days of the time you bring it into your home, or by January 2nd, whichever comes first.
Also, make sure all of your holiday lights are listed by a qualified testing laboratory. Be aware some are only for indoor or outdoor use, but not both. Replace lights with worn or broken cords or loose bulb connections, and read manufacturer instructions for the number of light strands to connect. Also, be careful with candles. Blow them out before leaving a room and keep them away from curtains or other flammable materials, as well as pets and young kids. And as always, install and test smoke alarms on every level of your home. You are 88% more likely to survive a fire if your home has working smoke alarms and a sprinkler system. It is so important, Sarah.
Yes.
But I guess my point is you saw it as that.
Yes, of course. There's a spiritual war and there's a physical war. And the physical war could be, that's the unofficial.
Yes.
That's the unofficial version. The spiritual, if you win the spiritual war, it will reflect into the physical war. So I don't know what I have to call it, our impressive victory was because we won the spiritual war. Very, very fast.
Well, that leads me,
because you didn't have competition. I mean, they were Satanic. I think that made it easier.
In your inaugural, and I was listening on headphones for the translation, so I just want to check this, you said, we have achieved this great victory and made this a safe country, and that's the predicate for everything that follows. And the next thing we're going to do in this term is to work on the economy to make it better.
Grow the economy, yeah.
And you said correct me if I'm wrong, you said I have a 3-point plan, and I'm thinking, I wonder what that is. I don't know, start a Federal Reserve Bank? And you said the first point of my plan is seek God's wisdom.
Yes.
That is what you said.
Yeah, I said that, yeah.
Why would that be the first point of an economic plan?
Why wouldn't it be? What should be the first part of the plan?
Well, I think it should be.
Yeah.
But I can't.
And most people would think that, right?
I've never heard any leader of any country say
because
that.
Because they probably forgot to represent the people that elect them, yeah. It's like you ask most of the people that elect the politicians, they say, yeah, that's fine, yeah, I believe that. But then you ask the politician, and he will say, no, that's not. So who is he trying to pander into? I mean, it doesn't make sense, right?
Well, a new lawsuit claims that staff on a Royal Caribbean cruise ship served a passenger 33 drinks in a matter of hours. The family of 35-year-old Michael Virgil accuses the company of negligence. Now, the family says during the cruise, he was tackled by security and given medication. Christian Benavides reports that he later died on the ship.
One of the world's biggest cruise lines is facing new allegations of negligence. In a new lawsuit, the family of Michael Virgil, who died on board a Royal Caribbean ship last December, alleges the cruise served him at least 33 alcoholic beverages while the family was waiting for their room to be ready. Kevin Haynes represents Virgil's family.
It stands to reason that he was demonstrably and obviously intoxicated, and yet Royal Caribbean kept pouring the drinks.
According to the lawsuit, Virgil then tried to find his fiancée and their 7-year-old son while intoxicated, but got lost and became agitated. The family claims cruise security tackled him to the ground, stood on his body with full body weight, administered a sedative, and used multiple cans of pepper spray to subdue him. Virgil died hours later. An autopsy determined his death was a homicide, due in part to mechanical asphyxia and alcohol intoxication.
So it never should have gotten to the point where he was so intoxicated that he was wandering around the vessel looking for his family. In fact, his family has consistently said since day one, this is very out of character for him. They refer to him as the gentle giant in his household.
In a statement, Royal Caribbean said, "We were saddened by the passing of one of our guests, worked with authorities on their investigation, and will refrain from commenting any further pending litigation." Maritime attorney Michael Winkleman.
Of course, every single passenger that goes on there also has a duty to drink responsibility, so that cuts both ways. But assuming this gentleman was served 33 drinks in a period of a couple hours, that's in dramatic derivation of well-established protocols across the cruise ship.
Emergency. Emergency. Please remain calm and clear the building.
At a top robotics company in Japan this week, 4 robots being developed for military applications killed 29 humans in the lab. The scariest part is that lab workers deactivated 2 of the robots, took apart the 3rd, but the 4th robot began restoring itself and somehow connected to an orbiting satellite to download information about how to rebuild itself even more strongly than before. And this next sentence is a quote. "This is serious shit, Linda, but you're never going to hear about this in the news. The robotics company has too much to lose, and governments want IA robot soldiers." Close quote. I immediately thought of what happened the month before at the July 15, 2017 National Governors Association meeting in Providence, Rhode Island. 30 governors gathered at the final session to hear Elon Musk, CEO and founder of Tesla and SpaceX, talk about the future with Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe. Musk repeated a warning that he has been making for some time, that the development of robots, androids, and cyborgs with human-like artificial intelligence is, quote, "a fundamental risk to the existence of human civilization," close quote. And here now is an excerpt from what Elon Musk told the governors.
Are robots going to take our jobs, everybody's jobs in the future? Or how much do you see artificial intelligence coming into the workplace?
Well, first of all, I think on the artificial intelligence front, you know, I have exposure to the very most cutting edge AI, and I think people should be really concerned about it. I keep sounding the alarm bell, but you know, until people see like robots going down the street killing people, like they don't know how to react.
I keep sounding the alarm bell, but until people see like robots going down the street killing people, like they don't know how to react.
On the Epstein files, does the new investigation by the Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney prevent the department from releasing all of the remaining files?
So we have released over 33,000 Epstein documents to the Hill, and we'll continue to follow the law and to have maximum transparency. Also, we will always encourage all victims to come forward.
President Trump says that he relied on his tariff policies to make all of this happen. In October, tariffs brought in $33 billion. That's a 316% increase from October of 2024.
In 33 hours, we have made historic progress for Charlie. Governor Cox, our partnership has been absolutely incredible these last few days. Our partnership will endure. Your state and local partners, your sheriffs, your DPS community has been unbelievably impressive in the hardest of times. But the Bureau's job is not done. I'm committed to this transparency. Mr. Chairman, you alluded to our work with Congress. To date, in the 7 months that I've been FBI director, we have produced 33,000 pages to the United States Congress, 33,000 pages. Just to put that in perspective, my predecessor in his 7-year term issued 13,000 pages to Congress, and his predecessor in his 4-year term issued 3,000 pages to Congress. I've issued 33,000 pages in 7 months, and we're going to keep going. Cellular analysis systems are the best in the world, and that's what the FBI does, and that's what we flew in and did. That's how we led the manhunt and got him in 33 short hours. And just last night, the suspect was taken into custody at 10 p.m. local time. In less than 36 hours, 33 to be precise, thanks to the full weight of the federal government and leading out with the partners here in the state of Utah and Governor Cox, the suspect was apprehended in a historic time period.
Once again, my name is Art Del Cueto. I am a vice president with the National Border Patrol Council. And I want everybody to take the time to understand what's going on. We are all affected by this shutdown. We have skin in the game. However, it comes down to border security. And we are extremely grateful to President Trump, and we fully support what he is doing to take care of our nation's borders, to take care of the future of this United States. It has nothing to do with political parties. You all gotta ask yourself this question. If I come to your home, do you want me to knock on the front door, or do you want me to climb through that window? We fully support the president and all his efforts to secure our nation.
Sports reporter and anchor was found dead in a home in Hoover this morning. Good evening, I'm Sherry Jackson.
And I'm Carly Lane. Christina Chambers was one of the 2 victims found dead from gunshot wounds in a home. CBS 42's Maddie McQueen joins us now live in our newsroom with details on this investigation. Maddie?
Carly, Hoover police are saying it was a murder-suicide. Police say a family member found a husband and wife dead from gunshot wounds and called police around 9 o'clock this morning.
According to Hoover police, a 3-year-old was home at the time but was not hurt. It was an emotional scene on Highland Manor Court as neighbors and family mourned the couple. Though many were too upset and wished not to be on camera, some neighbors tell me Christina Chambers was a, quote, delightful and beautiful person. Christina Chambers had a long history with sports in Alabama. According to UAB, Chambers was a Coleman native who won a state championship in 300-meter hurdles in 2006 and held 5 school records. Chambers was a track and field athlete at UAB, graduating in 2009 with a degree in mass communication. After college, Chambers continued pursuing sports in the broadcast world, working with news stations from Columbus, Georgia, to Montgomery, to Birmingham with WBRC TV. When she left WBRC, Chambers covered the Alabama High School Athletic Association football championships with Alabama Public Television.
She had an understanding about sports that not everybody that covers it has. Hers weren't just opinions. She knew the sacrifice that it took. And beyond that, she just did her job with not only with great passion, but with real joy.
Behind the television screen, Chambers taught broadcast journalism to students at Thompson High School. Principal Wesley Hester sent a letter to parents and students saying in part, quote, "We are deeply saddened by the passing of our former employee, Christina Chambers. Many of you worked with Christina in many capacities, whether it be TV and film classes, THS TV, or Warrior Nation Network. Chambers currently worked with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alabama. Corporate Communications Director Sophie Martin released a statement reading in part, quote, "Christina was a cherished colleague whose warmth and loving personality touched everyone she worked with. Christina was a source of joy and inspiration to our team and company. She will be greatly missed." Beyond being a passionate sports personality in the state, Chambers is being remembered as a devoted mother.
My last conversation with her was 2 weeks ago on the sidelines of Protective Stadium about her young child and how much she loved and enjoyed him and couldn't wait to get home and see him. You could tell that she had taken to motherhood. She lit up when she talked about her child. And we were standing on the sidelines shivering, but I got the impression talking about her child warmed her from the inside.
Do you
So
think
it's a common sense thing to seek God's wisdom?
Of course.
Yeah.
It's a prerequisite for wise decision making, I would
Yes,
say.
exactly. So that's the first part of our plan.
Really, it makes me laugh. Do you think that that's one of the reasons that your successes, which are just measurable, I'm not saying this for ideological reasons, but just a fact that you've transformed the country in a good way and that you're literally the most popular elected leader in the world, again, not speculation, provable fact, you'd think that would be greeted in the hemisphere as this amazing thing, like what's going on in El Salvador, and instead, there's been this, what's going on in El Salvador?
Yeah.
There's been hostility.
Yes.
Do you think that's why?
I'm not sure, but one of the reasons is that we don't pander to them. So probably they don't like that. It's probably a reason. It's like...
Y ahora que nos vieron hacer un milagro, que la verdad hay que darle la gloria a Dios. Porque ¿qué somos nosotros? Si no herramientas todos, herramientas de Dios. Dios quiso sanar nuestro país y lo sanó. A través de un pueblo unido que decidió dejar el pasado atrás y decidió tomar las riendas de su propio destino. Ya veo los titulares. Bukele menciona a Dios y el país debe ser laico. Es que hasta eso nos quieren imponer, que seamos ateos. Nosotros respetamos a todas las religiones, respetamos a los ateos, a los agnósticos, los respetamos y somos sus amigos, pero déjennos creer en Dios. Y déjenos darle la gloria si así lo queremos. ¿En qué les molesta? ¿En qué les afecta? Tal vez les afecta el ejemplo, porque tal vez las poblaciones de sus países a las que les han metido el ateísmo empiecen también o vuelvan a creer en Dios. Ustedes han visto, gracias a Dios y gracias a este pueblo noble y unido, cómo El Salvador pasó de ser el más inseguro al más seguro. Ahora, en estos próximos 5 años, esperen a ver lo que vamos a hacer. Porque seguiremos haciendo lo imposible y seguiremos demostrándole al mundo el ejemplo del Salvador. Que Dios los bendiga a todos y muchas gracias.
We should be really concerned about AI. AI is a rare case where I think we need to be proactive in regulation instead of reactive. Because I think by the time we are reactive in AI regulation, it's too late. AI is a fundamental risk to the existence of human civilization. In a way that car accidents, airplane crashes, faulty drugs, or bad food were not. They were harmful to a set of individuals within society, of course, but they were not harmful to society as a whole. AI is a fundamental existential risk for human civilization, and I don't think people fully appreciate that.
Elon Musk, did any of you see his rocket launch? I mean, this guy has a lot of intelligence and he has a lot of guts. And when he makes a warning like this, as he's been making for the last 12 months, I think the entire planet should take Elon Musk very seriously. By August 21st, the Washington Post headlined, Elon Musk calls for ban on killer robots before weapons of terror are unleashed, and I immediately thought he knows about what happened in the robotics company in Japan. Quote, Tesla chief executive Elon Musk says that artificial intelligence is more of a risk to the world than is North Korea, offering humanity a stark warning about the perilous rise of autonomous machines. Now the tech billionaire has joined more than 100 robotic and artificial intelligence experts, calling on the United Nations to ban one of the deadliest forms of such machines, autonomous weapons, close quote. In an open letter to the United Nations Convention on Certain Conventional Weapons, Elon Musk and 116 other AI intelligence experts, including Apple's Alphabet, wrote, lethal autonomous weapons threaten to become the third revolution in warfare. Once developed, they will permit armed conflict to be fought at a scale greater than ever and at time scales faster than humans can comprehend. These can be weapons of terror, weapons that despots and terrorists use against innocent populations, and weapons hacked to behave in undesirable ways. We do not have long to act. Once this Pandora's box is opened, it will be hard to close. We therefore implore the high contracting parties, meaning in the UN, to find a way to protect us all from these dangers, close quote.
If we break down society, we're going to rebuild it as such. They just want a complete destruction.
Your team is one of the major gangs.
And they are satanic also.
That was my question. So very little.
Sorry.
No, but I would hope you will explain it, because very little has been written in the West about this.
They're satanic, yes.
But actually, literally, can you explain?
Well, they didn't start as a satanic organization. MS-13 started in Los Angeles, in the U.S., because Salvadorans weren't allowed to sell drugs by the Mexican gangs. So they created a gang that was called the 18th Street Gang, because they basically wanted to sell drugs in a street that was 18th Street over there. But then division started they started dividing themselves and started infighting. So they created the MS-13. And then MS-13 started outgrowing the other gangs, and they started exporting the organization to other parts of the U.S. And when Bill Clinton decided to deport those guys, he didn't tell our government at the time, I'm deporting this criminal. They just, send them here. And they came, there were few, but unchecked. At the same time, some laws were passed to protect minors from imprisonment. And of course, the gangs used that to recruit 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds. So at the beginning it was, some youth causing harm, assaulting, trying to control their territory, selling drugs. Things that are bad, but probably not critical. But they grew, and they started controlling territories. A few years later, they were actually a huge international criminal organization.
In total, 33,000 pages of files were released by Congress, many of which were already public.
People want these files released. I mean, look, it's not the biggest issue in the country. It's taxes, jobs, the economy. Those are always the big issues. But you really can't solve any of that if this place is corrupt.
Congressional lawmakers are also working on legislation to force more information to be made public. Of course, Fox 17 News has been tracking the push for additional information to be released in the Epstein case for months now.
There may not be much of a holiday weekend for many people at the Justice Department. Presumably, they are furiously going through the Epstein files.
We will continue to follow the law with maximum transparency while protecting victims.
Attorney General Pam Bondi says she will comply with the law, including the new one passed just last week requiring her department to release all it has on Jeffrey Epstein, the late financier accused of trafficking women and abusing girls. Epstein had plenty of high-profile friends, including former President Clinton and at one time President Trump, who said he cut off Epstein years ago.
I think we are going to get a lot.
Legal experts expect to see quite a bit.
My hope and my expectation is that the Justice Department will err on the side of transparency. These are documents that everyone wants to see.
And what so many want to see is whether other big names are implicated in Epstein's misdeeds.
This is obviously sensitive stuff.
But lawyers caution there will be redactions.
I don't know if we're going to see a smoking gun. There's going to be a lot for amateur sleuths to poke through about flight logs and whatever else. But we will eventually see this report.
Unfortunately, it has all come down to the Epstein files.
There has already been political fallout, including the big split between one-time allies Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene and President Trump, who initially had fought the release before backing it. Those pushing for more disclosures plan to follow this through.
Anyone who's involved in any kind of cover-up is going to be subject to criminal prosecution.
And because there can be redactions to these documents to protect either victims or ongoing investigations, this may come to a larger debate over what's not released next month.
Thank you, President.
Thank
we
you.
really
Thank
appreciate
you.
all the support that you've given the Border Patrol. We appreciate the support that you've given ICE. My name is Brandon Judd. I'm the president of the National Border Patrol Council. I've been a Border Patrol agent for 21 years. I can personally tell you from the work that I have done on the southwest border that physical barriers, that walls actually work. You hear a lot of talk from the expert that there are experts that say that walls don't work. I promise you that if you interview Border Patrol agents, they will tell you that walls work. I worked in Naco, Arizona for 10 years. We didn't have physical barriers in Naco, and illegal immigration and drug smuggling was absolutely out of control. We built those walls, those physical barriers, and illegal immigration dropped exponentially.
I haven't got there, but I have started going to church every now and again.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you enjoy it?
I love it.
Yeah.
I do.
I do too. It's a bunch of people that are going to try to make their lives better. They're trying to be a better person. And they're trying to, I mean, for me at least, the place that I go to, they read and analyze passages in the Bible. I'm really interested in what these people were trying to say, because I don't think it's nothing. There's a lot of like atheists and secular people that just like to dismiss Christianity as being foolish. You know, it's just fairy tales. I hear that amongst, self-professed intelligent people. Like, it's a fairy tale. I'm like, I don't know if that's true. I think there's more to it. I think it's history, but I think it's a confusing history. It's a confusing history because it was a long time ago. And it's people telling things in an oral tradition and writing things down in a language that you don't understand, in the context of a culture that you don't understand. And I think there's something to what they're saying. I don't think it's nothing.
No.
I think there's something to it, and there's a reason why it resonates with people. And Christianity in particular is the most fascinating to me because there's this one person that everybody agrees existed that somehow or another had the best plan for how human beings should interact with each other and behave, and was the best example of it, and even died in a non-violent, like didn't even protest, died on the cross, supposedly for our sins. Like, it's a fascinating story. What does it represent, though? That's the real thing. What was that? Like, what happened? Who was Jesus Christ if it was a human being? What was that?
New details after a deadly discovery that happened over the weekend.
A woman found dead inside a freezer at a Dollar Tree store in Miami. Local 10's Roy Ramos is live at the scene with the latest. Roy.
Ladies, and that Dollar Tree is now open for business, but police tell us that this victim ended up making her way into this restricted employee-only area by herself. In fact, surveillance video shows her walking into that freezer alone. Crime scene tape blocked off the entrance of a little Havana Dollar Tree off Southwest 8th Street and 9th Court. after Miami police said 32-year-old Helen Maciel Garay Sanchez was found dead inside a freezer Sunday.
You start thinking about what's going on, and I got concerned with what I just learned, that there was a person found dead.
Customers we spoke with shocked to hear of the death of a woman described in this GoFundMe page as an anesthesiologist originally from Nicaragua who was a mother of 2 children who sadly lost her life while visiting Miami.
So said that the workers at the Dollar Tree don't recognize her.
Investigators said she was found just after 8 a.m. by an employee at the Dollar Tree, and it appears Garay Sanchez walked into the store by herself Saturday night, didn't make a purchase, but made her way to a restricted employee-only area where the freezers are located. She remained inside overnight, and tragically, her body was found the following day. And the victim's family now trying to transport her body back to Nicaragua, where both of her children are. If you'd like to help that family with those expenses, we've put that GoFundMe page on our website. You can find it at local10.com.
People trying to kill Jews in Israel and throughout the world want to kill you and me too. Radical Islam is an enemy of mankind. What's the connection between Syria and Australia? Radical Islam. Radical Islam wants to kill all the Jews. They want to kill 2 soldiers from Iowa. This is a religious war. They hate us because we're Christians, we're infidels, and they want to kill all the Jews. To the Australian government, you let your people down. The man who was killed, the rabbi that was killed in this attack, wrote a letter to the Prime Minister of Australia weeks ago asking him to reconsider recognizing the Palestinian state. To every Western government who's recognized a Palestinian state, you're rewarding killing Jews. It's the most irresponsible decision I can imagine. What state are you recognizing? Is it controlled by Hamas? What are you recognizing here? When you kill Jews, you get a state, you're going to get more killing of Jews. So I would urge the West to get tougher on radical Islam. The rabbi who begged the Prime Minister to reverse his decision to recognize a Palestinian state is now dead. And how could you not have better security given what's going on in Australia around a large gathering of our Jewish brothers and sisters on Hanukkah? As to Syria, would come here if they could. God bless President Trump for wanting to retaliate.
Yeah, I want to get back to Australia in a moment, but let me get to Syria in one more moment here, because are you questioning whether or not it was, in fact, a lone gunman from ISIS? Are you questioning that with what you just said about Syria?
I don't know, but I'm assuming it was a lone gunman. I want to know, was this person part of the security forces?
Weaponized robotics is advancing rapidly without nations organizing and coordinating the vital regulations that will be necessary to guard against what happened in Japan in August that cannot be made public. And I think every human on this planet should know that 29 people died in a lab trying to make a weaponized and military robot soldiers. So I'm sharing this with you, but I would like, as a journalist, to give you the hard person, the hard document. And you can see in this demonstration how difficult this is. The communications, the New York Times, the Washington Post, I play by the same rules as they do. And you don't want to make a dramatic statement, but I know the person. I've met him. He's given me very reliable information. I am convinced that 29 humans died in that lab in this past summer when 4 robots went nuts and they had a hard time controlling it. And we are being left out, and Elon Musk, in between his words, that's exactly what he's saying. He said, unless robots go down the street, people, this is all ephemeral, philosophical, geeky tech discussion. And I'm standing in front of you today because I really care about which path this planet goes. And don't you all have a sense that we really truly are at a branch in a road? And to the left, it feels fascist and militarized and roboticized, and somehow humanity, Homo sapien, will be the lowest on the priority on that path. But on the other path, would be for people everywhere to have this knowledge, to know what robots are capable of doing, that are militarized to be soldiers, and start having international conferences to say, this is the last chance that Homo sapiens have to predict, to control, and to guide where the Earth is going to go. And I'm sure you all feel as I do, that in the United States right now, looking at what is happening in Congress, we don't have the ability to come to a consensus on much of anything, let alone the international community. And yet, Elon Musk, Stephen Hawking, and others are saying this is the last chance we have. We are facing an existential threat.
And others are saying this is the last chance we have. We are facing an existential threat. This is the last chance we have. We are facing an existential threat.
First off, I want to warn everyone, we're talking about very graphic details. 4 men, 3 of them in very prominent positions named in these complaints, allegedly speaking about abusing young children, some of them as young as 4 years old.
Those 3 men all facing charges including receipt and possession of child sexually abusive material. And the allegations hard to stomach. According to 3 separate complaints in March with the help of local police in Toledo, Ohio, the feds arresting a person who allegedly traveled there to have sex with a fictional 7-year-old and 6-month-old after an FBI agent had been posing as the parent of the children. Then the feds say they uncovered messages from attorney Joshua Ronnebaum and psychotherapist with Arbor Wellness Center Jeremy Taken of Detroit, along with messages from Wayne State and DMC Dr. Lincoln Erickson of Farmington Hills. Local 4 is told now fired. Last month, the FBI raiding Ronnebaum's Detroit mansion where he lived with 3 other men, allegedly finding 38 media storage devices and at least 155 images of child sexually abusive material. Ronnebaum's personal cell left displaying Delete Telegram, the app the men had allegedly been using. The feds also finding a conversation where the attorney says he abused 2 minor boys, quote, 10 and 12 when I was in my 20s. Ronnebaum also quoted in the complaint saying he had done something similar several years ago. Taken expressing his sexual interest in children, receiving at least 12 videos via Telegram asking for, quote, any more clips? And the complaint says Lincoln Erickson allegedly saying, quote, bro, I love other pedophiles, and have been openly discussing his access to a, quote, dad who allows Erickson to sexually abuse his 3-year-old son.
Free speech, but I'm not so sure that's true anymore. I mean, there's story after story about people being thrown behind bars in the UK, even for tweets that they have deleted, with longer prison sentences than people who've committed actual physical violent crimes.
Yeah, that's right, Guy. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, I mean, it's an incredible story. I mean, there's a woman that's in prison for 31 months, which is 4 months longer than a child rapist is in prison. And what all she did was have a tweet up for 4 hours that she ended up taking down. This is a sweeping crackdown on free speech in Great Britain that we have not seen anything like in maybe hundreds of years. I mean, it's really astonishing. It's happening on multiple levels. Keep in mind, they were already arresting 30 people a day for wrong speech in Britain before this. Now they have a special police task force to constantly monitor social media, including X, formerly Twitter, and they can stop content based on age verification. So they can stop content saying, oh, this is harmful to mental health. And then X, recently, just a few days ago, did block content on the basis of the British order to be able to identify if people were old enough to see it. So the other thing you mentioned there was the Islamophobia. They're not going to allow people to criticize mass migration. They're going to call it Islamophobia and a hate crime and prevent it. So this is George Orwell. I mean, George Orwell perfectly predicted this in 1984 when he wrote his book in the mid-40s.
You know, breaking news on Capitol Hill, 4 House Republicans have joined Democrats in signing a discharge petition to force a vote on extending Affordable Care Act subsidies. The move puts the measure over the threshold needed to bypass House leadership, despite Republican leaders opposing an extension of the subsidies. Now, earlier today, House Speaker Mike Johnson said he has not lost control of the chamber. Even if the petition succeeds, the vote would likely happen in January. That's after the subsidies expire, a timing issue that could, of course, raise healthcare costs for millions of Americans. And coming up at 4.
President Trump is now turning to economic warfare in his showdown with Venezuela, targeting its oil industry. Meanwhile, lawmakers in Washington continue to demand clarity on the administration's plans for the South American country. Fox's Rebecca Castor has the latest from Washington.
After U.S. forces seized a ship full of Venezuelan oil last week, President Trump has now ordered a full blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers going to and from the South American country.
This is just enforcing the law. And you have to, if for sanctions that bite, for them to have an impact on behavior, you have to enforce them.
Oil is a major source of revenue for Venezuela, and President Trump says Nicolas Maduro's regime uses those profits to finance drug terrorism, human trafficking, and other crimes. For months now, the U.S. military has been ramping up its presence in the region and taking out suspected drug boats, but the administration has stopped short of saying it wants to remove Maduro from power. Congress, though, wants to know what the next move will be.
Yeah, 15% of the Navy pointed at this guy. If he's still standing when this is over, this is a fatal, major mistake to our standing in the world.
Many lawmakers are wary of entering into a war with Venezuela and disapprove of how things have gone so far, like when the military hit a suspected drug boat a second time to take out survivors from an initial strike. More lawmakers were shown classified video of that operation Wednesday, and calls are growing louder for the Pentagon to release it more widely.
There's nothing there that the American public should not be able to see other than the possibility of accountability.
The men on the boat were trying to continue their mission. That's the truth.
Secretary of War Pete Hegseth says he has no plans to declassify the entire video.
In D.C.
Yes, of course. And you have in Long Island and
yes.
In L.A. It's a huge criminal international organization. So they grew and they started, killing more people just to get territory or to fight against rival gangs or to, collect debts or, money or whatever. But as the organization grew, they became satanic. They started doing satanic rituals. I don't know exactly when that started, but it was well documented.
Yes.
And in our arrest, we've even found altars and things like that.
Yes, I've seen them.
And so they became a satanic organization. And even when you, sometimes when you interview gang members that are in prison, they would say, I'm out of the gang. Of course, they're in prison, but they would say, I'm not a member of the gang anymore. And when they asked them why, I remember I remember the news outlet that made it but it's a very well-known news outlet that made this interview with a gang member in person. We allowed them to go into prisons and do the interviews. And the guy that they asked him, how many people have you killed? And he said, I don't remember. He didn't remember how many, probably 10, 20, he didn't remember. And then they asked him, and what is your position in the gang? He explained how he went up in positions, but I left the gang. I said, why did you left the gang? And he said, well, because I was used to kill people, but I killed for territory. I killed to collect money. I killed for extortion. But I came to to this house, and they were about to kill a baby. And the killer that had killed tens of people, said, oh, wait, what are we doing? Why are we going to kill that baby? And they told him, because the beast asked for a baby. So we have to give him a baby. Because the beast asked for a baby. So we have to give him a baby.
Tomorrow will mark 2 months since the 13-year-old girl from Rockcastle County was last seen. Today, community members came out to support Winter Wagner's family, praying for a safe return. Jason Bartow has the story.
For one Rockcastle County family, there was an empty seat at the Thanksgiving table this year, and as of now, presents could sit unopened under the tree on Christmas morning.
Holiday season is the best time of the year, you spend it with your kids. It's been hard.
I was thinking back to last Christmas, what she wanted and what she asked for, and I don't even know what she wants, and that's been weighing on me.
Sunday, December 14th will mark 2 months since 13-year-old Winter Wagner went missing from the Orlando community of Rockcastle County.
Your mind goes through every scenario, every process, and it's heartbreaking, really. It sucks the life right out of you.
On Saturday, her family and friends were joined hand in hand, surrounded by one of the only things they say has given them hope and strength during these past several extremely difficult weeks: prayer.
Jesus, we ask that you would do this for us, Lord. She disappeared without a sign, without a trace, and we're just still hoping and praying that somebody comes up with something, That's all we can do is just hope and pray. Leave it up to God.
An Amber Alert hasn't been issued for Winter since she went missing. Now her family says they're working with legislators to push for a new Winter Alert for missing children.
It kind of fills in the gaps between no alert at all and then the Amber Alert. Anytime a child goes missing, it's very, very imperative to get people's attention.
While Winter's family anxiously waits for her to come home, they hope she hears these messages.
If she can in any way reach out to me, please call me, and I'll come get her no matter where it's at. No matter in the world, I'll come get her.
Reach out to us. We'll come get you. We don't care. We don't care where it's at. We don't care who you're with. We don't care. We just want to know you're okay. We love you, and we're not going to quit.
No matter what you're going through, we'll work through it, but you got to come home. I need you to come home. I love you so much. I'm sorry for everything that I couldn't do or be there for you for, but I love you.
Anyone with information about Winter's whereabouts should reach out to the Rockcastle County Sheriff's Office.
That I can at least say to you, I think this is a fact, that we are dealing with intelligences that move in and out of dimensions, and that is part of why they can pop from someplace far away in another dimension or in this universe and be here like that. He said there are many dimensions. I'm sitting at this table in Washington, D.C. in 1985, writing this down. There are many dimensions, 2 of which we might relate to, but there are at least a dozen dimensions that we would not relate to. All Ebens look alike, the society on their planet, and he said, as far as he knew, that the Ebens dealing with the Earth now, their home base is Zeta Reticuli 1 and 2 that came up in the Betty and Barney Hill and many other cases. It doesn't mean that that's where they started out. It just means that our only current knowledge is that the Ebens have some kind of a home planet or base in Zeta Reticuli 1 and 2, the binary solar system. It's 39 light years from Earth. The Ebens brought 5 different humanoid species to this planet Earth a long time ago. Our whole planet is a sociological experiment. That is why they persist in a guardian role behind the scenes. And there are, these are his words, and there are renegades to the Ebens that we call the blonde Swedes. The problem is, if the Ebens go away from Earth, what will happen? They have a computer base inside of our moon and throughout our solar system. 1985 words. Is that sufficient monitoring to keep the blonde Swedes in check? He said, the Swedes have all their menagerie of cloned biological entities. I did an interview with physicist Brian Greene in New York. He teaches at Columbia University and has written some wonderful books. The Elegant Universe is one of them. And he and I did a long interview together, and I said, in the whole context of the evolution of artificial intelligence, which we were talking about, and are we in a computer-based created system? I said, it almost seems inevitable that Cro-Magnon Homo sapien sapien will ultimately be replaced by cyborgs. And Dr. Green said, yes. And many people find that distressing and frightening.
And for a peace that endures, and for a Middle East reborn. Mr. President, I thank you.
I thank the representative of the United States for the statement. I shall put the draft resolution to the vote now. With those in favor of the draft resolution contained in document S/2025/748, please raise their hand. Those against? Abstentions? The result of the voting is as follows. 13 votes in favor, 0 votes against, 2 abstentions. The draft resolution has been adopted as Resolution 2803, 2025, or the draft resolution. I now give the floor to those members of the Council who wish to make statements after the vote. I give the floor to the representative of the United States.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you to the Council members for this historic and constructive resolution. Thank you for joining us in charting a new course in the Middle East for Israelis and Palestinians and all the people of the region alike.
They got y'all in fear. Everybody wants y'all to be in fear. Trump wants y'all to be in fear. They want y'all to fear God. Listen, they want y'all to fear the person that created you. Why would I do that? Why would I fear the person that created me, but they want you to fear everything? The spiritual people use the same thing on y'all that the church used, that the government used. Anytime somebody tell you to fear something, get away from them. That's how you know it's fake. Because they tell you it's something to fear so they can be the savior. Yeah, they tell you it's something to fear so they can be the savior. It ain't nothing to fear. Don't listen to no spiritual leader that tell you that. Don't listen to no church that tell you that. It ain't nothing to fear.